It is Monday, March 17, 2025. This is our Village of Vicksburg regular session council meeting. I'll call this meeting to order. If you'd all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just take a quick moment of silence so I can gather my notes. And if you would, Christian, do a roll call, please.
Trustee Fields.
Here.
Trustee Wagner.
Here.
Trustee Reister.
Here.
Trustee Cox. Trustee Kissinger.
Here.
President Pro Tem Keller.
Here.
President Frisbee.
Here. As I just wanted to state too that Trustee Cox is a family emergency and she was excused earlier this morning, so take care, always family first. So we have an agenda in front of us and we've got a couple of additions that I want to put on. On 11, add 11B, committee appointments. And 11C, we want to add to the agenda the Equiflow.
Resolution.
The
related to
resolution, yeah.
Directed spending, it's in front of you.
So those are the two that I know of. Is there any other additions or? Hearing none, we'll have a motion in front of us. What is?
Move as amended.
Support.
We have a motion to support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we have a agenda. We don't have any scheduled appearances, but we have Ms. Wendy Mayers, our county council person, with us tonight. Did you have anything you would want to bring to the table? Thanks for being here.
Wendy Mazer, County Commissioner, District 8. Nice to see all of you again. It's been a while. I apologize. Some concert season has been going on, so. But that's all behind me now for quite some time now. So anyway, I'm looking at your agenda. Okay. I'll get my notes. We've got a couple of we have our board meeting tomorrow night, and we still have the committee of the whole at 4 o'clock, but now our board meetings start at 6:30. We changed that about a month ago. And then the other change we made was we used to read out loud the consent agenda at the meetings, you know, the full, like 4 pages. And we changed that. We're not going to read it out loud. You can still access it all on the website in our agenda. So, I mean, the transparency is all there. But it was just time saving, and so that change was made. And then parking. If you've been downtown at all, you know the parking, Kalamazoo downtown, has been an issue, and it will continue for a little while yet. If you've tried to park, you know, to get to the Justice Center or something, it can be a real challenge. We have 2 event center ramps and a ramp surrounding McDonald's that we're working on, and so those should be completed in a few months, but until then, you know, it's going to be a little tricky. So anyway, that's all I have. So nice to see you all.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And we also have our very own Jackie Coney is going to give us an update on the RRC.
If I can, I wanted to, because I don't know if publicly we have, but I certainly wanted to thank Wendy, who her and her family were a considerable sponsor for the Berg events financially. So thank you to yourself and your family.
Thank you very much. Keeping that a secret from us, were you? Thank you for bringing it up, Jim. Appreciate it.
All right. So I had this handy dandy little checklist to hand out to you guys, but I asked Christian to print the wrong thing out. So I don't have it to hand out to you. So I will.
Do you want us to make copies?
That would be great, and then I'll move on to one piece of it. Maybe we can start then with, is it okay if we start with the training survey? Okay, great, perfect. Okay, so as part of the Redevelopment Ready Communities Essentials certification thing, there's a component about training. and that every year we should have a training plan and we should execute the plan, we should track what's going on. So it was about a month ago, I went in front of the Planning Commission and I did a survey with them. Some of you were there and understand this, and asked them to talk about what they want to get trained on. So I already got the results of that, and I've done an assessment and an analysis of that, but I need the council to do the same. And then what I plan to do is take your results and then combine them, have them separate, but then combined and see where we land. One thing I did with the Planning Commission is I started the conversation with just a really brief, why do you serve? Like, why are you even here? Why did you run? And if you don't mind, I'd like to start with that with you as well. And I'm going to take notes. And I have a feeling I'm going to hear a lot of the same answers I got from the Planning Commission. But yeah, I'd love to hear just a minute, like 30 seconds to a minute for each of you. Just rattle off for me if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, why do you serve? Why are you here?
Okay, I'll start. I've grown up here. I intend to probably grow old here. I thought it's important, one, to do my part in the community, and two, to be a voice for the way I would like things to go as I continue to age here.
I first got involved in the business community and attending meetings out of that respect, but then that very quickly grew into just the fondness for the community and those in it, and then just filled in my drive to make this the best place it could be for now and into the future, and the people that will continue to live here. And I was really inspired by, at the time, the sewer and water improvements that were being made, and all of the just the efforts that those for the council and staff and everyone at the time were going through, because it took a lot of public backlash to get that going, but it had a lot of forward thinking and a lot of what was in the best interest of us in the future, not just right now. And it's going to be tough in the short term, but it's going to be amazing in the long term. And seeing that all come together is what drove me to want to be involved in it and see how I can help make the future for Vicksburg better.
Well, to begin with, I was asked to apply for this position quite a few years ago, and so I did, and they selected me to be on the council. And as I've worked on the council, I realize how important it is for the people in this community to have a voice for them. And that's what I think my job is. My job is to be a voice for the people in the community, and that's what I try to do.
I'll go next.
Okay.
I was tricked.
There's the honest answer we're looking for.
I started off some 22 years ago trying to get involved with the village political scene and the Planning Commission, and was very, very distraught about the lack of effectiveness, a lack of transparency, lack of communication. And when they hired Mr. Mallory to be village manager, I knew I needed to have his back, and this was the time to get involved, and so I did.
Awesome.
I'm next. Well, I have a degree in political science. I've always been involved in politics since a young age, but I've always believed in giving back to the community. I've been involved Lions Club here locally. I was on the Vicksburg Little League board. Ran the Vicksburg Rocket Football and started the board with that, and was on the Planning Commission for a number of years, and really felt it was, it's every citizen's duty to try to leave it better than they found it. And this is my hometown now. I've lived here 35 years now. So my goal is to leave it better than I found it. So.
Nice.
I too started young. In college, I started my civic career as a senator for a couple years, and then kind of took a little bit of a break. But around the same time, Wendy and I joined the Parks and Rec Committee here in Vicksburg. I was on that board for 4 years and chaired it for 2. And I too was like Gail. There was a vacancy, so I was kind of told, maybe you should put your hat in the ring. So I put my hat in the ring, and hopefully I'm serving well. And to kind of say what other councilmen have said, our council people have said, is I want to, make this the best community we can. And I've seen it, firsthand. I've lived here for 9 years, and just tons of growth since I've been here since 2016, and it's awesome.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so I think what I want to do is go back to where I was going to start with an assessment of how we're doing. So if you don't mind. Okay, so I made this as simple as I could. We have 23 total items that we need for RRC essential status to achieve it. And at the moment, we have 16 done and approved, already checked off. We have 1 item that's in review. We have 4 that are almost done and should be easy. This is all at the bottom, you can see. And then 2 that I think are a little more difficult. So that might take some time. So if we go down from the top, I guess I'd like to just highlight right away what you're going to hit after the greens are the 2 reds. It's concentrated development and housing diversity. I'll say that concentrated development, I don't think should be hard, because when I look at the requirements for the RRC, it's stuff we're already doing downtown. It's just that it's not codified in the ordinance that it's allowed to do. So I know Kyle and Christian and Jim are talking about that separately, about how can we just actually get this done. But it might take a few meetings. It might take, I don't know to me, it feels like it's an easy slam dunk. This should just take time, but I don't know.
I've given the team to have it done by June 30th.
Okay. So yeah, I think of the 2 hard ones, that one is, achievable. We just got to get it done. The housing diversity is a longer term one. This is one where I think it needs a lot of education and training to understand even what this issue is, what we're even talking about, and what are options out there, what are other communities doing, how does the community feel about it. This is going to take us a little while. I think relatively soon, I bet we have 22 out of the 23 checked and approved, and we have that 1 sticking out that's going to take a little time. So I'll leave that one. All the ones that are in yellow, the parking flexibility, you guys, the Planning Commission had already revised our parking ordinance, and I believe we've achieved what we need to for RRC. We're having a little back and forth with the MEDC right now, making sure that what we did matches up. I think there's just a misunderstanding of wording or something. So hopefully that one is a slam dunk this week. If it's not, we'll see. But I think we're okay there. And then the others are just kind of sort of easy peasy things. One I want to point out, and then I'm going to ask Christian to talk about, is 3.4, the internal review process. That's basically just inside, how do we do, when we get a request or a developer coming in and saying, I want to do something, what's our process, and is it written down, and do we follow it? And I just want to, the reason I'm asking Christian to talk about this is because I just can't say enough about this. RRC is not about just getting some more money and having access to more grant money and all that. It's about doing stuff in the best practice ways that make us transparent, friendly to developers, wonderful, transparent, communicative community, all these things you were talking about, Tim, that you didn't like before and that we're headed to. But we want to do this no matter what, even if it didn't mean we get an extra 30,000 or 100,000 or whatever in grants. So it's just a great way to be. So I thought Christian could talk just for a second about this one piece that is an example of that, like why this is just a good program.
Yeah, so I put the internal review process together. I based it mainly off of the city of South Havens, which was one that Julia Baker gave us to model off of. And I personally like it because now we have a set in stone process of what we do if we get a site plan review, a rezoning application, a parcel split or combination, or a site condominium application like we got for Ellen Edwin not too long ago. And it's like step one to final step of how you go about the process from getting the application, scanning it in, getting it to the team of McKenna, Catherine Kaufman, SCM CCI team, to then getting it into the planning commission packet, what needs to be done there, and then if it needs to get to the council, what has to be done there. So anybody who is at the front desk or village clerk or village manager should be able to look at this process and be able to get through it without many questions popping up is the
Consistency
plan.
and transparency.
Yep.
Yeah, yep, and then if someone's not here, we know what to do, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, there's just so many things on here that I'd love to talk about for a long time, but you don't want to stay here all night. But even things like expectations and interests for our board and, volunteer opportunities, that now has been put up on the website in the last few days. So now it's like, here's what's available, here's what these different commissions are all about, and here's what we wish you had as experience, or, and then asking people to get engaged. So there's things like that we're just putting more and more up on the website, and as the website gets updated and changed, I think it's going to be more obvious to people where to find all these great things, but there's a lot of great stuff up on the website now. So anyway, that's that. So hopefully very soon we'll be through this, except for maybe one. So that's the update. Now, back to the training survey, because this is part of the ones I have to get done. So I'm going to hand out these surveys, and it shouldn't take you more than 5 to 10 minutes to fill this out. And I want to highlight question number 6, because I think a quick conversation about that question when you're all done filling it out would be really great for people to share. So. Oh, you already have it? Yep. Oh, you already have it? Okay, yeah. Oh, good. All right, so.
5 steps ahead of you.
Great. So get to it. Fill it out. You can put your name on it, or you don't have to. But yeah, please fill it out. And then let me know when you're done somehow. And then I guess I'll be able to tell. And then we'll talk about number 6. Yeah, I can tell you. It looks like you're ready. I just realized this was not in your packet. I had the opposite. This is the internal review process, just what Christian was talking about, in case you're interested. Are you complaining about 9 questions, Tim?
For all of those watching us on YouTube, be patient. We are still working.
Jackie, in number 8, are we supposed to just choose one of those, or what do you?
Oh, no, like, so with each one, would you like at meeting training, would you prefer it as number 5, so rank them all? Each type of training from 1 to 5? Yeah, yeah,
I see.
yeah. Yep. We're almost there.
Should have known when Jackie came in there would be a test.
No, number 9, yeah, there's 9 total. Okay, I appreciate you taking the time. And I thought maybe just 5 minutes total, probably with a conversation about, on number 6, like what's 1 or 2 of the items that you were particularly excited about learning about that we could share with each other? And it'll be interesting to see if there's any that match up with each other, or, you know, what's interesting to you and why. So let's just, whoever wants to start, and tell me one that's particularly interesting.
Well, I think the one that jumped out to me was the local redevelopment tools, state redevelopment tools. You know, just what is out there for us to learn and to grow on.
I'll be honest, to me, each one of them was a 5, because all of these are really good topics that I feel like could be addressed much better. I mean,
Overachiever.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me, I'm a student, I love
Yeah.
to learn the things and then see how I can apply them, but,
Yeah.
if I had to pick a top one, though, I'd definitely say housing diversity and missing middle, as well
Here,
as
here.
public engagement.
Right.
And I like the historic preservation. I think that's really important, and public engagement.
I didn't have 5s and everything, I had a lot of 4s, but public engagement, because that seems to be a continual thing with us, how do we get the citizens engaged, and we have such a huge crowd here tonight that,
Busting at the seams.
I had tourism too, because,
Okay,
how, as I've said numerous times, this is one of the only communities I know that we do not have a state road or going through it. We have a county road, so you have to want to come here. It's off the beaten track a little bit, so.
which makes it cool.
It does make it cool, but but how do
Yep.
we emphasize that?
Yep.
How do we capitalize on it with
Right.
our businesses downtown and
Correct.
Yep.
And the Berg Days are doing pretty well with that and some of this stuff, but, how do we keep that rolling and?
Okay,
Mine was placemaking, my top 2, and then also housing, the housing diversity, missing middle. I don't want to speak for Ryan, but our next step is kind of missing for my family at least, within the village.
That housing diversity missing middle, that was a big one for me too. Even for the step below Chad and Ryan, for my oldest that would love to live in Vicksburg, and finding that housing. But also, like Carl said, the public engagement, that was a big thing that I was looking at when I first came on the council, and it's been a lot tougher than I thought it would be to get the public engaged. So, yeah, finding new ways to do that would be great.
cool, thank you. I'll collect those, and you know, as far as public engagement goes, don't forget, we have a brand-new public participation plan that is maybe heavy-duty and hard to read and all that, but there's pieces of that that can be helpful, that, you know, I think that plan, what it's good for is helping you identify, or the staff identify, where do we need public engagement? Because you don't actually, you know, when there are big decisions to be made, you want public engagement, but there's like different times and places that's more of a priority. So how do you focus your efforts on really getting the engagement in that situation than trying to get people to come to every meeting and come, you know, so you got to be strategic because people just aren't going to come to everything. So anyway, that's it. I will gather this up. I'll do a report and summary and share it with Christian and Jim, and we'll see where we go from there. And yeah, that's it.
Thanks for your hard work, Jackie. And putting us on the spot.
That's how you get the feedback. If I sent it to you in email, I'm guessing I would not have heard from you.
You're very smart.
Thank you.
I just want to briefly talk about our strategic session. I think you will be getting the final draft for the approval. If it's not in your mailbox, it will be shortly. You gave them all the final copies, all right. Yeah, I mean, this, to me, is in one of the things Jackie asked us, what do we consistently look for guidance? And mine, of course, were the strategic plan and the master plan. So these two kind of go hand in hand. You know, there's things to do on it. Most of us have something to do on it.
It'll be interesting to go through it.
Yeah, read through it real good. You know, let's just all just keep getting grounded on this as often as we can to make sure we're utilizing it. And like I said, this should be a tool that we all review when making decisions for this village. But I think I'll just go ahead and read the introduction to it. As village president, it is my honor to introduce the Village of Vicksburg's 2025-2027 strategic plan, a roadmap for our community's continued growth and prosperity and well-being. This reflects a dedication, a collective dedication of our entire village council to serving not only residents, but also the many visitors who experience the warmth and charm of Vicksburg each year. At the heart of this plan are guiding principles: transparency, collaboration, innovation, and sustainability. These values are not mere words, but the foundation upon which we build every decision and initiative. As a council, we are steadfast in our commitment to ensuring that the village remains a place where the families thrive, businesses flourish, and our commitment, and our traditions are celebrated. My hands are shaking too much. I am incredibly proud of the direction of the village is heading, the leadership demonstrated by this council, and the unwavering support of our community gave me great confidence that we can achieve this together. As we embark on this journey, let us move forward with purpose and unity, and knowing that the best days for Vicksburg lie ahead. So, I got good help. Okay, no chatter behind the scenes. You guys are killing me. So we have a general consent agenda in front of us. It's the minutes of our regular council meeting from March 3rd, 2025, our warrant reports, our event requests, the Lions Club B&B, and the Little League Parade. There was no correspondence. Everyone had an opportunity. Any corrections or comments to the minutes? And hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the general consent agenda.
Moved.
We have motion and support. We'll do a roll call, please, Christian.
Trustee Kissinger? Yes. Trustee Reister?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Fields?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller?
Yes.
President Frisbee?
Yes, and I'll leave it up to Christian when he reviews the tape, who was first. All right, so in front of us, we have what we spoke to earlier this evening. We have a consideration of a brownfield plan the approval for the Berg Car Wash project located at 321 North Richardson Street, and the staff is recommending a motion in support of the brownfield plan, as was presented by Jared Balka earlier. The plan was presented to the Brownfield Board at 6:30 PM, March 17, 2025.
So moved.
We have motion and support. Is there any further discussion on this? I do want to say, as we commented earlier tonight, that we're in a very fortunate situation to have this tool at our hands to be able to benefit some of the developers in the area that, you know, if they were burdened by some of the past history of the use of the property, just could not afford to do it. So it's a great tool. I think Jim was saying the county, the city, and the village, this is a program that we've used. This will be our fourth time it's coming in front of this council, so quite a tool, and they're real proud to be able to have this opportunity to ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger?
Yes.
Trustee Fields?
Yes.
Trustee Reister?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller?
Yes.
President Frisbee?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. So we'll jump to committee appointments. If we just vote this in tonight, I'll just throw them all out. If there's any discussion or changes, we can do it after a motion and support. And then I'll follow up with a hard copy in the morning. And at our next meeting, I'll bring the non-council committee appointments. So I want to keep them all consistent at the same time, the same year. So there's several others that we appoint during the course of the year that needs to be refreshed as well. And tonight we did 2 brownfield members as well, so I'll correct that. But for President Pro Tem, I will choose Mr. Carl Keller and Ryan Wagner as his alternate. Planning Commission and DDA, Chad Kissinger, Wendy Fields alternate. Parks and Recreation, Wendy Fields, Chad Kissinger alternate. Municipal Building Authority, Jessica Cox, Wendy Fields alternate. South County Sewer Authority is not really a council appointment because we're not part of it, but it's something we need to be totally engaged with them. So I'll continue with that role and have asked Christian Wines to be my alternate. South County Fire Authority, Carl Keller, and Tim Frisbee will be his alternate. The CATS Policy Committee, since nobody else jumped to the forefront on that one, I'll continue with the CATS, and Carl Keller was my alternate. Finance, Ryan Wagner, Jessica Cox, Tim Frisbee, and Gail Reister is an alternate. Human Resources, Chad Kissinger, Wendy Fields, Tim Frisbee, and Jessica Cox as alternate. District Library, Gail Reister, Chad Kissinger as alternate, and Tree Committee, Gail Reister and Wendy Fields as an alternate.
Move to approved.
Second.
Any discussion, or anybody want to meet me out back? And okay.
We serve at your pleasure, sir.
You had your chance. So we have a motion of support. We'll do a roll call, please, Christian.
Trustee Fields?
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Reister?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller?
Yes.
President Frisbee?
Yes. For wanting to get this done in January, I'm right on time. Who said government moves fast? So next on our agenda tonight for action items for the council is our resolution 0317-2025-01. And I'll let Jim explain why we at this point.
Yeah, this highlights something I was going to talk about during village manager's time. As the council is certainly aware, then we're talking federal government budget for fiscal year 25. The village had support from Congressman Tim Wahlberg, reference our Phase 2 as a continuation in our lead line replacement program. I want to highlight at this time where some 220 lines have been replaced. This council has stood up tall and recognized the realities of an aging system, and to finance some of the state mandates to upgrade systems. We've had to pass some of those costs to our citizens in form of the charges for water. We're very, very fortunate that we received $1.2 million from Kalamazoo County on the second half of Phase 1, which was a $3.1 million that came on the heels of a prior $2.5 million project. But this was going to be the full Phase 2, about a project that we estimate to be about $5.2 million. Congressional directed spending is 80%. With the village with a 20% match. I would like to highlight and publicly thank Congressman Wahlberg, who staff reached out to me 2 weeks ago, and kind of as an insurance policy with everything going on federally, they have since that phone call federally, we have a continuing resolution that goes till September 30th. But within that resolution, all congressional directed spending, and that's across the country, not just for Vicksburg, is not part of that. So highly encouraged to refile for fiscal year 26. It's not something that they can just push forward. So came back and upon approval of this resolution, we will get this submitted before midnight tonight for the request, and look forward to it. And like I said, definitely like to publicly thank the Congressman Wahlberg and his staff for reaching out to me and bringing me up to speed on this. But it's a resolution that is from the council. It's part of the request that says this council is aware of the request and committed to the 20% match, which is just under $1.1 million. And it would be the same timeline. We'll get indication and know if this gets support usually about August of the calendar year. The federal budget starts October 1st. So looking forward to it and moving forward. So be happy to answer any questions, but definitely recommend a motion and support and approval. And then Christian and I will be staying tonight to get it all submitted.
So moved.
Support.
We have motion to support. Any further discussion or questions of Village Manager Mallory?
I'd just like to extend my thanks as well to Congressman Wahlberg and staff for making sure we're on top of this to continue to try and take advantage of those funds for our water and sewer projects.
Hearing no others, Christian, would you do a roll call, please?
Trustee Reister?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Kissinger?
Yes.
Trustee Fields?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller?
Yes.
President Frisbee?
Yes. And we'll try to wrap up quick so these two can get back and finish up before midnight. I think you wanted to talk a little bit about Berg Days.
Yeah, a couple things before that. I wanted to publicly extend my sincere gratitude to the Village of Vicksburg Police Department for their professionalism and swift action during a recent incident that began this morning in the Village of Vicksburg. I also want to thank the City of Kalamazoo, County of Kalamazoo, Schoolcraft Police Department, Life Ambulance, South County Fire for their invaluable assistance during this incident. This morning, an armed subject barricaded himself in an apartment. And while this was a tense situation, I'd like to emphasize that there were never any hostages at any point during the incident. A very well orchestrated, coordinated plan was implemented with the Vicksburg school system to ensure the safety of the schools and children. I just want to thank everyone for the coordinated efforts of all the involved agencies. The situation was brought to a successful and safe conclusion at about 5 p.m. This evening, with the suspect being arrested. Thankfully, no injuries were sustained by any civilians or law enforcement officers. The collaborative response serves as a testament to the professionalism and dedication of our local agencies, and I'm deeply appreciative of their efforts in ensuring the safety of our community. And I'd also like to pinpoint the leadership of Chief Scott Sanderson. It's times like this that it's comforting to know that he's bringing his 30-plus years of policing experience and leadership to the community. So wanted to publicly thank the other agencies in our department for that. We did talk about the congressional directed spending, and it's invaluable to have not only county with the county commissioner here, but state support as well as federal. Would highlight that we did receive a letter of support on this project from our county commissioner, State Rep Matt Hall, our Senator Sean McCann, as well as some other checkmarked letters of support. So we should at least meet all of those items. A couple things, I guess, yes, the Berg birthday celebration is Saturday, May 17th. It's going to be a full day event. It is our next event upcoming. The music, 2 bands. It won't be like Berg Days. It'll be like last year we had a Fleetwood Mac tribute band. The headline band is a Bob Seger tribute band this year with a pretty good opening band. The opening band's at 3 o'clock, and then Night Moves will take the stage at 5 p.m., but there'll be the complement of cultural arts, Vicksburg Arts be involved with hands-on activities. Jackie's actually leading the group. We've had artwork done on our parking spaces before during some Berg Days, but kind of a more organized look that could be pretty cool. And we'll have, of course, Vertical Edge here with family-oriented things. So looking forward to that, May 17th. Couple other, I did want to talk a little bit in regards, it's very interesting, and it's across probably the world in America, specifically here in Vicksburg, watching social media interaction and how quickly something can become exaggerated or taken as fact, and it just simply isn't. And I understand a human desire by some to certainly state their opinions, but it quite often doesn't serve a valuable or positive purpose, especially when you have an ongoing incident with double digits of public safety staff in a pretty tense situation. It's not the time to come to the area because everyone's now putting out a location of someone to just watch or gawk or whatever motivation they might have had. And I don't know how to prevent it, but I'm not going to remain quiet at this stage in my career. On some, it was disappointing. Some people I certainly recognized or was told there. I was there, I delivered food and then left, as I served no purpose there other than that. So the other is on social media posts. And we had recently a local social media post that wanted to give the appearance that it was some outside agency conducting an audit on our police department. It's just false. There's no, it's unfortunate, and I just wanted to assure the council and the community that the accusations contained in those documents were incredibly inflammatory. And it's those type of inflammatory social media posts that cause undue stress and anxiety for our police officers. Despite having been exonerated of the serious allegations through the professional and independent investigation, Meaning, if someone files a complaint on the Village of Vicksburg and we immediately recognize that it maybe should be investigated by an outside entity, we engage in that, including engaging in legal oversight as well as outside, non-connected to the Village of Vicksburg investigations. But the officers become subjected to public scrutiny that are based on false narratives. Such posts not only damage morale, but also unfairly undermine the trust between the police department and the community they serve. Worst yet is individuals who immediately glam onto the false narratives as though they're gospel, and they bother me the most. We, at times, painstakingly do not respond to social media because it's a game that you can never get your message out to the rare few that want to just say and espouse whatever they're motivated to do. I certainly appreciate us spending time, and I trust anyone out there to let them know I become aware of social media posts, not because I'm on social media looking for them, but it's usually someone sending a screenshot or asking me a question about what they read. And if it's inquisitive, it truly is running in the 90th percentile of where it's not accurate. But on this case, it was nice really when you dig into the comments, how overwhelmingly positive they were across the board from people who have firsthand witnessed and experienced the professionalism of our department. I really specifically want to recognize and thank, again, Scott Sanderson, our police chief, for his leadership and dedication. I'm extremely grateful for that leadership and service he provides to the officers. I've known Scott Sanderson, and I have worked shoulder to shoulder with him for now 31 years. His character and work ethic and simple, unimpeachable integrity set a standard of excellence that is reflected in the conduct of our officers on a daily basis. We're blessed to have him leading our department, and I want to publicly make that known. You know, it's in a time in which it's easy sitting in a computer keyboard and sending information, albeit inflammatory and an error of the totality of circumstances. I ask each of you who might listen to this message, place yourself in a police officer's professional duties. They're heroes. Yes, they're employed. They're well compensated, and certainly we appreciate and respect them. However, they still must internalize a social media post that was viewed by citizens they serve, which painted false narrative on their performance and commitment to our community. In an era that is already difficult to find individuals desiring to enter this profession, need we wonder why? Thankfully for me, I am at the near end of my public service, and I don't have to be as silent as I have been in the past. And I vow to each of you, I am not going to be silent, either when it comes to corrective action from if myself or a team member needs it, then we will implement it if we didn't meet our policies. But it'd be a far time that I remain silent when our officers perform above the expectations, but above our policy standards, and serve the community in the manner that they do. I agree, as I just said, we all should and will be held accountable for our actions and conduct. It's more important, though, when our officers perform to the standards of the profession, there should be unwavering support from them in any forum that is required. And my comments today should clearly demonstrate my resolute commitment to our police officers when they perform to such standards, and to Chief Sanderson for his leadership. And that's my report tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mallory. Was there any tree update?
We just had a great meeting with our manager, and so we're ongoing.
Excellent. Parks and Recs, have you started to meet yet? And Cats is next week, planning?
Can I highlight the one thing brings to my mind? May 5th at 5:30, it will be the kickoff public meeting with Parks and Rec Committee on the
Oh, yeah.
updated master Parks and Rec plan. And of course, properly noticed, but May 5th at 5:30, be a presentation and interaction with Parks and Rec Committee, and then 7 o'clock that night, soliciting council's input as well.
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing that up. Parks and Recs, Planning Commission was canceled. Cats is next week, Sewer is next week, and Fire is this Wednesday.
Yeah, if I can let everybody know, this Wednesday's meeting, to my knowledge, Waukesha and Brady Township are both going to announce that they are leaving the authority. I've kind of heard through the grapevine that they officially voted on it their last meeting, so probably it'll be pretty packed house, would be my guess. I've been told that Channel 3 is going to be there, so so just making you aware, hopefully I get out of there in one piece, so.
All right, so it takes us to trustees' time, and I'll start with Trustee Fields.
I want to thank Jackie for all of those things that you covered, especially the processes, best practices. That has been a thing that I have thought about a lot in the last few months. So it's nice to see that going in that direction. Some of the social media posts, I would wholeheartedly agree with Mr. Mallory. It's unfortunate that I do believe it is a small minority of people that tend to be so negative in their vocal thoughts on things. I do think that, and maybe it's me being optimistic, but I do think that the overwhelming majority of our community feel that our local police officers do an outstanding job. And I agree about Chief Sanderson and second all of that. So thank you.
Trustee Wagner.
I'd like to echo Manager Mallory's comments as well for the respect and unwavering support for our officers and Chief Sanderson. It is absolutely unfortunate when these sorts of things do occur, and I appreciate your ability to handle and address it with integrity, because it is certainly not easy for what they go through and then what they still have to manage. So thank you for speaking up on that.
Trustee Reister.
I'm all set.
Trustee Kissinger.
I too want to just kind of support what Manager Mallory said about our police department, and also what he said about what they did today and all the public safety departments that helped us with the issue today.
President Pro Tem Keller.
Well, I'm going to share a story that occurred a couple weeks ago that I had the opportunity to be visited by one of our police officers. It was a week ago Friday night, and got a knock at the door, and it was Officer Engel, and the house directly across the street from me, which everybody knows is a Castle House. The individual who owns that house, he hasn't lived there in quite a few years, but he evidently is there making renovations or whatever. And so Officer Engel wanted to know if I knew who was over there, and I said I didn't even notice that there was somebody there. But he was he was doing his checking, was what he was doing. I immediately reached out to Jim and said, hey, you know, what's up with that? He goes, I don't know anything about it. But Officer Engel actually went the extra step and called me back to let me know that it was the owner of the property that was there, and he was doing some work on it. He didn't need to do that, and I was fine with him. I told him I really appreciated him, you know, doing that, and so hearing about this, I just shake my head. You know, people don't realize all the little things that our public safety people do every day, whether it's neighborhood checks or it's checks downtown or whatever. But I want to give a thank you to Officer Engel for his graciousness and him taking the time to call me back, which he didn't need to do. He could have left it alone, but I just want to say thank you very much.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you for not responding to that post, and thanks for the people that brought it to our attention. You know, it's, how many of us have gotten emails from a long-lost cousin over in Serbia that has got $1 million and they're looking for an heir? How many have we got emails from Norton saying you just got charged $365 for your, your software? We all know it's crap, it's phishing. We got a text from the Illinois toll road saying unpaid tolls. We get it every day, we're inundated with this, but, that type of act, it's a cowardice act to put something out there anonymously. If you, you don't know, it could be criminal, right? And it's pretty cowardice. So I appreciate, Mr. Mallory taking the time to explain it, and I really appreciate you all not responding to it. And let the people of this community speak the truth and speak up for our staff, because they do it every single day. And thank you for that, Chief Sanderson and the team. Jim said it earlier about the aging sewer system. Now, I want to thank Jimmy Myers and DPW for getting out to Maple and Main Street, had a sewer backup today. Thanks for getting out there. And my final is to Congressman Wahlberg and his team. Thank you for giving us the heads up about those appropriations that got put on the back burner, because we could have missed it really, really easily, and then we'd be starting from scratch a year later. So I want to thank Jim for taking the initiative to come back and do this, and thank you all for being here tonight. With that said, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, did he have support?
Support.
Okay.
I think it 6 sports.
All those in favor, say aye. All right, meeting adjourned.